Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome to Pakistan International School Taif Virtual Learning System. Hope all of you are fine and learning a lot from this system. Student, this is your 8th lecture, Geography of Pakistan, Boys and Girls, Grade 10. First of all, today we will discuss chapter 10 exercise and then we will start chapter 11. And I am Mrs. Asima. We have finished chapter 10, agriculture, irrigation and related problems. In this chapter, I explain the importance of irrigation, facilities for irrigation, modes of irrigation, types of canals, and well, carries, tanks. Then I explain principal canals of Pakistan. Then the principal canals from the Ravi, principal canals from the Chenab, the Haveli system of canals, principal canals from Jhelum, principal canals from the Satluj, principal canals from the Indus. Then we discuss the different barrages, the Chashma barrage, Thal project, Tonsa barrage, and the Ghulam Muhammad barrage. Then canal system west of Indus, different link canals we discuss, Indus Water Treaty, Mangla Dam, Karbela Dam, and at the last we discuss the problems of irrigated land, waterlogging and salinity. First of all, your exercise question that is very easy and topic wise given in your book. The first long question in your book, justify the need of irrigation in Pakistan, describe the modes of irrigation in the various parts of the country. During lecture I told you, and answer is given page number 93 to 95. Question number 2, write comprehensively about the canal irrigation in Pakistan. Here you will explain the canal system in Pakistan briefly. Question number 3, state the background of Indus Water Treaty. What steps have been taken under the agreement? Page number 100, you have to explain all the Indus Water Treaty. Write notes, Mangla Dam, it is very short in this chapter. You can write also Mangla Dam from the previous chapter, chapter 9. The Triple Canal Project. Last question in your book, what do you understand by twin means of waterlogging and salinity? Describe the remedial measures taken in this respect. You have to explain all the waterlogging and salinity, that is given page 103. Some short question from chapter 10, important short question, write in your notebook and you will also write the answer of this short question. During lecture I explained and I told you. First short question in this chapter, what is the importance of irrigation in Pakistan? Discuss the mode. Question number 2, discuss the modes of irrigation. Question number 3, how many types of canals in Pakistan? Question number 4, what does MAF stands for? Question number 5, which crop is cultivated in Rachna Doab? Question number 6, what is TDA? Question number 7, define waterlogging and salinity. And last question, what is scarp? So these are some short questions, and other questions also I told you during lecture. Now chapter 11. Chapter 11 is about agricultural crops and livestock. Agricultural crops and livestock. By use, crops fall into 6 categories: food crops, feed crop, fiber crops, oil crops, ornamental crops, and industrial crops. Food crops such as fruit and vegetables are harvested for human consumption. Grains such as corn, wheat, and rice are the world's most popular food crops. Livestock is commonly defined as domesticated animals raised in an agricultural setting to produce labor and commodities such as meat, eggs, milk, fur, leather, and wool. Then we will discuss today one crop, that is wheat. Wheat is a grass widely cultivated for its seeds, a cereal grain which is staple food. Now from your book, first of all, I will tell you about agriculture, and before your book, some important things about agriculture I will tell you, then we will start from your book. Agriculture, it plays a crucial role in the economy of developing countries and provide the main source of food, income and employment to their rural population. However, improvement in agriculture and land use are fundamental to achieving food security, poverty alleviation, and overall sustainable development. Now agriculture, it plays the main role, important role, for the economy of Pakistan, its development. Agriculture, it is the main important major source of provision of raw material to industrial sector of Pakistan, and it contributes towards GDP is about 25%, which is higher than contribution of any other sector. One more thing, it plays the agriculture sector, it is the backbone of an economy which provides the basic ingredient to mankind and now raw material for industrialization. Raising supply of food by agriculture sector has therefore great importance for economic growth of our country. Agriculture also, it is very important in the entire life of given economy. It is the backbone of the economic system of any country, and in addition to providing food, raw material, agriculture also provide employment opportunity to a very large percentage of the population. And it is important to improve agriculture sector. Why we are discussing in the previous chapter agriculture and now agricultural crops and livestock? Why it is important to improve agriculture sector? Because it creates job opportunities for its citizens. Agriculture is known also as a backbone of the developing countries. In other words, agriculture sector is the major source of employment in the most of the developing countries. Now from your book, Agriculture, Crops and Livestock. Agriculture was born as a profession as soon as man become acquainted, aware or familiar with the plant, seed germination and seedling emerged from the soil. From then onward, there was no looking back. Ever since man has continued developing his cultural activity as well as control over his environment. Modes of cultivation. Modes of cultivation, in fact, there are two methods of cultivation. Number one, in extensive cultivation, the farmer used old method of cultivation. On the other hand, in intensive cultivation, he uses improved method of cultivation like better seeds, fertilizers, timely crop rotation and irrigation, modern tools and implementation. The farm now Agriculture, which for centuries has remained merely subsistence oriented family occupation, is now changing from a way of living to the way of making a living, leaving behind tradition and accepting more and more involvement of science and technology. Today, agriculture is being modernized by infusion of science and technology into its art and practice. Time has changed, you know that, and the traditional method of cultivation has changed now, and now the modern method of cultivation, science and technology, involvement of science and technology, and now we are using, and agriculture is being modernized by infusion of science and technology into its art and practice. Land utilization in Pakistan, also in the previous chapter we discussed how much land we are using for cultivation, and Pakistan has a total geographic area of 87 million hectares and reported area 57.78 million hectares. You know that Pakistan is basically agricultural country, and we depend on mostly the population of Pakistan depend in this sector, agricultural sector. And out of the total area of 57.78 million hectare, 36% of was under cultivation in 1986-87. Underline this line, was under forest, and 40% was not available for cultivation. There is a huge area, about 10.4 million hectare, 18% of the total lying as cultivable waste, which can be brought under pro through reclamation and development of water resources. According to the 1980 census like an official count or survey, especially of a population. This is like a survey, and it was estimated how much population in this country. Of agriculture, 74% of the land holdings comprising 34% of the farmed area were below 5 hectares, 17% land holding comprising 25% of the area were 5 to less than 10 hectares, while 9% of the land holding accounting for 41% of the farmed area were 10 hectares or more. On account of a high growth rate of population in Pakistan, a continued subdivision of land holding is constantly adding to the class of small farmer, which creates a situation hardly suited to the evolution and development of a progressive agriculture. In the prevailing in current condition, therefore, national agriculture will have to maintain a low profile until a way is found to check effectively land fragmentation and growth of uneconomic holding. So here we discuss, I told you the modes of cultivation and land, how much area we are using for cultivation or land utilization in Pakistan. Now crops, first of all, agriculture, is important not only for the supply of food, but also for the provision of raw material for other industries like textile, sugar, vegetable oil. And agriculture is not only occupation for people, but also a way of life. And most custom and culture revolves around uh, 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 this agriculture. Crops. Now, crops, agriculture is considered the mother industry, the main source of Pakistan economy in terms of providing food, employment, and foreign exchange earning. I told you at the start of the lecture why agriculture is important. It is the basic, the main, the vital. It plays the vital role in the economy of the country. It is a backbone for the country, and it provides not only food, also jobs, employment, and foreign exchange earning. Indus Basin, the proverbial food basket of the subcontinent, was known in the world of its fertility of soil. Also, at the start of in the previous chapter, when we discussing the Indus River, I told you most of our agricultural sector depend on Indus River and the soil and agricultural prosperity. Although with the recent development in industry, the share of agriculture in GNP. What is GNP? GNP, gross national product. What is GNP? Gross national product. GNP is an estimate of total value of all the final products and services turned out in given period by the means of production owned by the country resident. This is GNP. And although with the recent development in industry, the share of agriculture in GNP has decreased, yet it continues to the backbone of the country's economic structure. Pakistan experienced large variation in temperature and rainfall during a year, resulting a variety of climate which produce diversified agriculture products. You know that Allah blessed Pakistan a variety of climate and variation in temperature and rainfall all the year. The year has two main cropping seasons, rabi crops and kharif crops. These are seasonal crops. So in short question, what are rabi crops? It can be asked in short question, what are rabi crops? Rabi crops are sown after the rains in October and November and harvested, and when it was harvested in April or May. This is the spring harvest. Such crops do not require much moisture, the chief of them being the main crops. Also the question can name some rabi crops. So some rabi main important rabi crops are wheat, barley, gram and oil seeds. Next short question, what are kharif crops, or name some kharif crops? Are sown late in spring or early summer during the month of April and June and harvested in October or November. This is the autumn harvest. It includes such crops as require a high average temperature and a good rainfall, unless the crops are grown on land which irrigated. These crops include cotton, rice, maize, millets, and sugarcane. Now, generally, the crops in Pakistan can be divided into two main categories. What are the crop categories in Pakistan? Short question. What are the crop categories in Pakistan? Or explain the crop categories in Pakistan. Two main categories, food crops and cash crops. The two main crop division or categories or groups, we can say, number one, food crops, and number two, cash crops. Food crops, what are food crops? Include wheat and rice mainly, and cash crop include cotton, sugarcane, tobacco, and oil seeds. Cash crops earn precious foreign exchange, means we are exporting these crops and we are earning foreign exchange, and are great source of our industrial raw material. Textile, sugar and cigarette industries depend upon them. Two-thirds of area under these main crops is in the province of the Punjab, one-third of it in Sindh, and WFP has one half of that in Sindh, and Balochistan has relatively a small area. Balochistan basically, you know that dry and basically mostly desert area, the land that is not fertile, so that is a small area. Wheat is the leading crop in term of hectarage, occupying 38% of the cropped area, followed by rice, cotton, which cover 12%. Each sugarcane and tobacco, occupying relatively small area, are also important cash crop. Today we will discuss wheat. The effort made toward achieving better yield and quality in major agricultural crop, especially wheat and rice, the basic food uh, items, have yielded satisfactory result. These two crops are also important because rice, a significant export item. You know that Pakistan producing the best quality of rice, and you know the basmati rice, which is famous all over the world, is the best kind of rice. We are also producing a number of these two crops are also important because rice, a significant export item, and wheat with surplus quantity, has also become exportable. A number of research institutions conducting the research work, which has been of great help for obtaining high yield per hectare and better quality. Here you can see a map, and it shows the production of wheat, the cultivation of wheat, and area under cultivation. 10,000 hectares, 1,000 hectares. This the big dot show the 10,000 hectares, and this dot show 1,000 hectares. And you can see here this is the province of Punjab, and you can see here this is the fertile land and the rich land. And here I told you this is the area of Balochistan, a small quantity of production. Here the area of Sindh, and this is the area of NWFP or KPK. And you can see here the production or the cultivation of wheat. These institutions and their subsidiaries have evolved new varieties which are high yielding, pest resistant and fertilizer responsive. Favorable climatic and soil condition for wheat. Of course, if the land will be fertile, the soil will be fertile, and climate will be suitable over an extensive area of the Indus Plain, especially the Punjab, where 70% area is located. I told you this is the area of Punjab and the most fertile area of our country. It is sown during cooler and drier month of October and November, thrives well with occasional rains between January and March, and when it is ripened in hot, dry weather of April and May. Fairly strong and steady winds assist the threshing and winnowing of harvested grain. The ideal requirement for a good wheat crop are moderate rainfall. How much millimeter? 275 to 525. That is the ideal or the moderate rainfall for the crop of wheat. Warm moist condition during yearly growth, warm sunny weather and minimum temperature 60 centigrade and 15.25 centigrade, fertile and well drained loamy and shale and undulating or flat land, especially for large scale commercial farming. What are the next question here which we will discuss now? What are the major wheat district producing areas? Name these areas. The major wheat producing districts are Multan, Sahiwal, Faisalabad, Faisalabad, Sargodha, Muzaffargarh and Jhang in the Punjab, Sakhar, Hyderabad and Nawab Shah in Sindh, Dera Ismail Khan, Peshawar, Banu, Mardan in NWFP and Nasirabad and Khuzdar in Balochistan. These are the main important area for the cultivation of wheat. In Punjab, you can see here Multan, Sahiwal, Faisalabad, Sargodha, Muzaffargarh and Jhang. These are in Punjab sector. In Punjab province, Sakhar, Hyderabad and Nawab Shah. These are in Sindh. Dera Ismail Khan, Peshawar, Banu and Mardan in KPK or NWFP and Nasirabad and Khuzdar in Balochistan. Out of the total area under wheat crop, about how much percent is irrigated? 78%. Underline this point. And 22% is rain fed. The irrigated area under wheat crop in the Punjab and Sindh constitutes over 82 and 96% respectively. A number of wheat varieties which have been evolved possesses different characteristics suited to various soil. Of course, it depends on the variety of soil, moisture, temperature. If all these things are suitable and good, then it will be of course good for the crop and have immunity against various pests. Major wheat varieties which are grown include silver, sonalik, Park 81, Parry 73 and Lyle Pur 73. These are the major wheat varieties which are grown include in Pakistan. Okay students, it's enough for today and I have told you many short questions. Write these short questions in your notebook and also you will write at least 10 MCQs from this topic. And today we discuss agriculture, crops and livestock, modes of cultivation, land utilization in Pakistan, crops, and one major crop or the important crop which we today I explain you, wheat, and also I will explain where it is grown, in which areas are suitable for the cultivation of wheat in Pakistan, and what kind of weather, and also we discuss the Kharif and Rabi crops. It's enough for today. In the next lecture, we will discuss rice, other most important crop, and cotton. We will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you, students. Have a nice day.